Well, welcome to Signs of Life, where we find hope in the headlines. My name is Chase Tremere. I'm one of your hosts, and I am joined by Serena Tremere and Montana Christofferson.
Hey, everyone.
Glad to be back.
Glad to be back.
I took a break last week.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We did have another little COVID outbreak, of course, at our house.
Yeah.
An outbreak.
But it's good to be back.
It's good to be back. And on this week, a special week of Valentine's Day.
Hey.
This is not a Valentine's Day episode, so, as I will continue to repeat.
It is a love and relationships
It's a love
We
episode.
are talking about
Valentine's
love
Day.
and the importance of being fully known and fully loved.
Yeah.
But you can celebrate that on Valentine's Day, Montana. It's okay.
And every other day.
That
all
is
I'm
true. That is very, very true.
But actually, this is not Signs of Life anymore.
Oh.
This is the newlywed game. And Chase, I'm going to need you to switch places with me.
I feel like this is something we do on a Valentine's episode.
Yep. Serena. I thought you were on my side. What happened?
Can I drink your coffee?
No.
Or no? Okay, I'll just slide
Okay.
right there.
Wow. I
What's
feel
this
so
paper
special
for?
over here. Okay, just wait.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's
Okay.
instructions.
There are instructions. Okay, so
hope we
if
draw.
you have ever seen the Newlywed Game, have you?
No.
No.
No?
Oh, yes.
What's the newlywed?
Yeah, like we
Seriously?
gotta answer questions
Oh,
about
yeah.
It's a test.
Okay.
A relationship test.
newlywed, also like 10-year wed.
Also 10-year
This is
wed.
what we're going with for us.
Okay, we're 10 years in. Here you go.
Okay, so I have various questions I'm going to ask you. And it is a test to see how well you know each other.
Ooh.
And we'll see who comes out winner.
I know
So
Serena very well.
it's only 3 questions each, not very long,
Okay.
but they're very important. And these first ones are for Serena. So
Okay.
both of you,
Oh.
both of you will answer
Oh,
Okay.
about her. Okay.
about Serena.
Oh, okay.
And so Serena's answers will be correct. And
I
we'll
write
compare.
all my answers on one sheet of paper.
No, we'll do one at a time.
Oh,
You'll
okay.
show everybody
Ah, I understand.
as they do. I wish we had whiteboards, I know, I'm sorry. Sharpie and paper is gonna have to work. Okay,
Silver Sharpie.
if Chase is picking up fast food for dinner, your favorite place,
My favorite place?
where is he going?
Fast food.
Yes, fast food specifically. Hey, Boo Bear, I'm on my way home.
Boo Bear.
About to go pick up some food. What is it?
Do I put my order?
Nope.
Okay.
Whole order,
It's the same
including the
thing.
drink.
Yes, literally.
Okay, ready, Chase? That's a lot of words.
How many letters are in this?
Only one place. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, flip it over.
That's not fast
Torchies.
food.
Wow.
Torchies is fast food.
Boo.
No, I would have put Torchies, but that's not fast food. Fast food is like drive-through,
Yep,
right?
that's
Aye,
exactly
aye,
what fast
aye.
food means. Insert.
You
That's,
put
that's
Whataburger?
DoorDash.
Okay, next.
That's my DoorDash order.
What?
It would be a double cheeseburger with mayonnaise, lettuce, and cheese only, though.
And a Coke.
And a Coke.
So,
Fancy ketchup.
Fancy ketchup. Okay.
aye. Oh, for
What
one.
was the first car Serena ever owned?
Easy.
Ever owned or ever drove?
The first car she owned, bought.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I hope they can pick up the scratching.
It's great.
It's great.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, flip. Honda Civic.
Heyo.
Good job.
Oh, 8 white.
eight
I
white.
wanted to be
That's
very
pretty
specific
good.
because I know her very well.
Okay, last
Except
one.
apparently her fast food order.
What is the #1 way to get on Serena's nerves?
Oh,
I'm sure you are well versed in this area, so
so many.
you should have
So many.
so many.
Okay, I need a new sheet. I messed up.
Messed up.
This is funny. Mine comes with a story if you want it, Montana.
Probably. Don't flip it. Oh, okay.
I'm doing really good not looking. Not that
Good
it would matter at this
job.
point.
You get an honor for being honest.
Don't look.
She's not even
You see
looking
how
when
she's
she's
writing?
right.
I know. She's also writing a novel of the one thing.
It's very
Okay.
specific.
3, 2, 1, flip.
Make me repeat myself.
Asking her to repeat herself.
Nice.
But the last part.
And then asking Siri to confirm. Yes.
What I've just
my
said.
God.
Yep. That sounds
So
about
just last night, she got upset because she asked Daisy to repeat herself, and Daisy said, Mom, and repeated. And she said, do you have to have that attitude when you're telling me something? And I said, do you have to have that attitude when you're telling me? Because she literally got onto her for yelling at her when she yells at me when I ask her to repeat herself.
It's different.
That's all I'm saying.
It's different.
And motherhood is refining, okay?
There you go.
That's all
Okay,
I'm saying.
now we're going for Chase.
Okay.
So these are Chase's questions.
Good luck.
What was Chase's first job?
Oh, I know this one. I think.
Well, don't look.
I'm looking at you.
Looking into the eyes.
When I look at you, for some reason, it helps it all come to me.
Okay, flip. Let's see.
Mike's Garden Center.
No,
Mike's Garden Center.
I was the card
Target.
attendant.
Card
I didn't know
attendant.
if it was Target or Mike's
That
Garden
was like my third job during college.
I heard
third
all about
job.
Target. Oh, man.
I attended the carts.
What was my first
I
job?
attended the carts.
Your first job? Oh.
Come on, you know this.
Oh, McDonald's,
Yes.
Nice. Okay, if there was a
Another funny
fire,
story. We'll tell that story later. Follow us on
If
socials.
there's a fire.
if there was a fire, and Chase needed to grab two things, kids and dog don't count.
So she doesn't count.
So yeah, people,
Two things.
things, items. What two things would Chase grab in a fire? I know, it's a hard one.
That's terrible, but it's true.
Terrible but true. Oh gosh.
That's not terrible. It's just like, don't judge me for my shallowness. Man, what else would I grab
What would you grab
in a fire?
in a fire? I don't know. I'd want to say something sentimental, but realistically, he wouldn't.
Probably not. Probably not.
What would you grab? I don't think you'd grab literally anything.
If you just have one, we can just go with one.
That's what insurance is for. What?
I think you would just grab us.
I
You're
watched
safe.
This Is Us, and you're right. I would grab y'all. I'm not going back for anything else.
All I
I'm
have is a
dying of
phone.
smoke later. Phone? I put my Xbox and wedding pictures, of
Xbox.
course.
No, you would not. You don't even know where those are.
You don't even know where those are.
Don't
Okay,
even.
well, that one, X on that one. Okay, last one.
Okay.
What is Chase's most repeated phrase?
Oh, man.
There's so many of these. Okay,
Ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri, here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
She also
I hate
accuses
this
me
phrase.
of counting.
Hey Siri.
First off,
Oh my
this,
God.
You
this.
do.
Second,
Here's the thing.
First.
and second, and then
There's never a
there's
thing.
never a third. There's, yeah.
Okay, switch back with me.
okay.
That concludes your newlywed game.
So who won?
I think.
We need a winner announced there.
I think I won. Let's be real.
I think Chase won. Actually.
He probably
I'm
did.
so sorry. I think that's how it went.
Hey Siri.
That's pretty funny.
Hey Siri.
Careful, my phone's gonna go off somewhere.
Oh yeah, mine too. Oh my gosh, that was a good game.
That
That
was
was fun. Good times. Good times.
Yeah, good times.
Oh man, well, there's this article that I wanted to, I brought up to you guys last week, and then yes, we got sick, and I'm just so excited to talk about it because it was a story that really warmed my heart. It's a story that People magazine actually published about a woman who was pressured to end her interracial relationship back in college, pressured by her family, and she reunites with her true love 42 years later. So this was back in the 70s, I think it was, when they fell in love. It was a African-American male and a white female fell in love. They were in college together, I believe in Chicago, and had, just so much love for one another, and they wanted to be together forever, except they had this big issue in between them, which was their race. It wasn't an issue between them, but it was an issue amongst their families, and particularly her family, that caused so much divide in that relationship. They were actually dating for 7 years in secret, and then realized as life started, they started growing, maturing, that just into their careers, that this wasn't going to work. If I did this, if they were like, if we did this, we would lose our entire families. And so essentially she called the relationship off, and she didn't like how she did it. and he was begging her not to do it, and she cut ties with him, and they didn't speak for the rest of their lives. They both, I don't think he went on to get married, but she went on and got married. She later was divorced and retired and went searching for him. She never stopped thinking about him and pursued him. Actually couldn't find him anywhere online, but found his niece somehow and wrote her a letter to learn that he was in a nursing home. And then would call the nursing home and try and get in touch with them, all these things. And one thing led to another. He wasn't able to talk on the phone. He wasn't able to write back. So she flew to the nursing home, and immediately, standing at his door, he knew exactly who she was all these years later. In all their old age, he had actually had a leg amputated, and different things had been going on medically with him. And long story short, he leaves the nursing home to move into her home with her in Oregon, and they were spending the rest of the amount of time that they have together now, and trying to make up for that lost time. And I read this and my heart just like burst, because I can't imagine. Chase and I are in an interracial relationship. He is a white male, I am a Hispanic female, and I couldn't imagine what it would be like for anyone in an interracial relationship, particularly African Americans and Caucasian individuals back in the 70s. Because I just know our experience, and I believe you're in an interracial relationship as well. And I know our experience has had its own set of challenges, and it just really moved me that they reconnected and stayed true to their heart and said, you know what, I'm going to pursue you, and I'm going to find you, and I'm going to live true to me, right? And because they were living to appease parents and society, and it was hard.
Yeah, and I think about when I heard this story, ultimately, love conquering all, like we hear that, but like really, like love it's hard, and it's not just something that magically happens, it's a choice. Like you choose to love someone. I heard this definition that you define love as this: it's to protect and to provide. That's it. And so if I'm gonna protect and provide, that doesn't just happen, on its own. Right. It's not just, something that just, it's gonna happen on its own, automatically just does its thing. No, I'm choosing to protect something or someone. I'm choosing to provide something or to provide for somebody. And I think about this story is that idea of ultimately choosing love over all of those things. And I think, at the root of hopefully every good and healthy relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, is choosing that, like choosing to love beyond what the rest of the world might say. And like you said, even in our relationship, we haven't gone through these same struggles. Right. At least I haven't experienced that. But I think it's been really cool as well that us choosing to love each other has also brought in these new perspectives for me, and even as we raise kids now, to be able to see two different cultures, two different family backgrounds, and all the things that come with that. And I get it, like back in the day, back in the day, 60s, 70s, like that may not have been valued and people may have avoided that. But I'm so appreciative that our kiddos get to see these two different, realities of things.
Yeah.
And, yeah, absolutely.
And just being committed to, like any other healthy relationship, the foundation's the same. Mutual love, mutual respect, mutual commitment to understanding, right? This commitment to learn. Is going to be really important in any relationship. I'm sure it is in yours and ours and theirs, but and living according to those foundational truths in your relationship, whether interracial or not, I think prepares you for a successful relationship.
Yeah, and I think it's been fun along the way too. Like there's serious topics. This is kind of a serious story, but there's also been I'm learning your family and you're learning mine, and just those differences of how things operate and work. And so and let me ask you, and Montaigne, even with you, like we're kind of in the same boat. What have been some of those differences that you've seen? You're dating a man from Guatemala, and you guys are in a serious relationship. And so Hispanic background, just like Serena, like what are some things that you've seen that have been kind of like, I didn't understand that. And
Yeah.
I had to ask, why is that the case?
Yeah, I think it's been really fun. Like you're saying, the commitment to learning, that is true, in any relationship, but it's like especially true when you're dealing with families from different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge, and it's a challenge, but it's been really fun, is like a language barrier. There's a big language barrier between me speaking English and all of his family speaking Spanish, and just how their family dynamics operate so differently than mine, or even Christian. He's the youngest. Obviously, he's male. Like all of the extra pressure that even he feels from, and not necessarily in a bad way, from his family, but what he's grown up with, where like our, typical is like, oh, you're 18, you move out, and your parents become this different role in your life that's less of like, oh, I need to
dependent.
Dependent, and that's not the case with him. Like he's still living at home. He's with his parents. He provides for them as much as he can, and it's been really interesting. But it's been super fun, and I've gotten to see so many things that I never would have been able to experience, and
learn a new language.
Trying. It's so hard to learn Spanish.
I remember when we first started dating, one of the things from my Hispanic home is my mom will cook and you eat it. And she will give you, especially if you're a male, she will serve you, and she doesn't expect you to get up and get a drink or a napkin or seconds. She's going to serve you seconds without you even asking. And if you denied it, it would be like kind of rude, And so Chase was like, no, like, I'm full. He's looking at me, and I'm like,
What do I do?
And you eat it.
Even when I met your mom just the other day, she was like, do you want breakfast or anything? And I'm like, I'm just coming to pick them up to the airport. Not staying.
But food and serving, that's her hospitality, and that's her gift. And she's really, really good at it. But, I mean, that's just an ethnic learning curve there.
I remember you told, obviously talk about family and where you started dating and hearing about, nieces and nephews and your siblings, and like I get all the names. Well, then I walk into the house and everyone's just Mijo. And everyone's just Mija. And I'm like, those aren't the names you told me. And then I had to learn okay, that's like that's like a cultural, love language kind of thing for, a kid or
a son, my
a
daughter,
younger,
little boy, little girl.
Yes.
Even like Christian's family greets with a hug and a kiss on the cheek, always. And I'm so not used to that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know. What's going to happen? And then I just got to go for it.
Your mom does that too, though. That's so
I'm like,
funny.
oh no, whoa.
It's a Hispanic thing, But anywho, so this brought up this story really brought up a lot of that. Wanted to talk about the interracial that we experience, but also, man, so many people in our world experience.
And I think within that, you learn about respect, and you learn about how to ask questions, and ultimately, the trust and the honor and respect that you build for one another, period, whether you're in an interracial relationship or not. But that, I think, presents that extra opportunity to learn that. And I think that's another thing, that you gain that respect for one another, and then you start adding kids in, and then you want to teach those kids what respect and honor looks like. And then when it gets to the tough things, what is forgiveness, and what do these things look like, no matter where you're from, because we all want that and need that, especially in a healthy relationship. And I think that was something, Montana, you were going to talk about in this next story.
Yes, okay. This story is about J-Lo and Ben Affleck and how they have rekindled their love, and they are back together after many years of being apart.
I really do love them.
I know, me too.
I'm like really rooting for them.
Me too.
I don't
they were
care.
At the Super Bowl.
I thought she was with A-Rod. I'm very confused.
You're so far behind.
So far behind.
You need to talk to Siri some more.
I will ask Siri about this.
But so this article is not even really so much about their relationship in general, but how J-Lo has been using their experience and their relationship, which they called off their engagement, I think, in 2004, which was quite a few years ago.
Long time ago.
And how she is.
You were like in middle school, maybe. No, you were probably not even born. Anyway.
How she is teaching her kids about what healthy relationships really look like. And I don't know, I think it's really great because she's kind of using this, she's acknowledging that back then, maybe there were parts of their relationship that wasn't healthy, but how they have grown and developed, and they're their own people, got their own kids, and have this blended family, and it's great now. But I just thought it was really good, and I was thinking we could talk about what it looks like more.
One of the things that she says in this article, she really highlights, like, in her past relationships, she didn't have a relationship with herself, right? Or at least a good one.
Yeah.
And she's teaching her kids the power of self-love and of inner happiness that helped her. I would call it inner peace, right? That helped her have a solid relationship to bring and contribute health into a healthy relationship, right? She says, I want my kids to know where I got to very recently. If you're good on your own, you really can have a beautiful relationship. But until then, you're probably going to struggle through it and in trying to find it.
That's good.
And I think that goes into, we've been just privately talking a lot about codependency and like putting your identity or searching for your identity in another person, in a relationship. And not even knowing who am I? How do I, help myself, love myself, care for and tend to myself, because I'm relying on someone else to do that for me. And I think essentially we're saying the same things. Like you can go into a relationship and want this person to fix you, want this person to be your whole happiness. And as we've talked about in another episode, like happiness isn't lasting.
Right.
Right? Like this tea made me really happy when I first made it because it was hot, and now it's cold, and now my happiness isn't so happy. And so it's fleeting.
Yeah.
But
and I think too with that, you just said something to remind me, the idea of like finding your better half, your other half,
Right.
or whatever. But and it seems cliche, but like it's really two whole people coming together and forming something new that is one. You are one, and I believe that. And when we got married, like we said, we became one. And I think the whole idea of marriage is this model of what we see Jesus saying. Like we're one, we're on the same team, we're on the same side of the table now. But at the end of the day, like you said with the word codependent, all of us are codependent at some level.
Yeah.
But if I do not find myself in a place that is whole, if I do not find my identity separate from other people, but like what is actually true about me, period. And I think that's why, for me, like I do lean so much on looking at the Bible and looking at what is true and what God says about me, because once I was settled in that, once I was at peace with my identity, then when I came to finding you, and I'd already met you and known you, but there was a difference. It wasn't this need for a relationship, a need for you. It was a want. Like I wanted to spend time with you. I wanted to get to know you. And it was more fun because my highs and lows weren't based off of if you texted me back or not. Kind of. But
like, well,
let's be honest. But the idea of like that was a happy choice. It was a joyful choice I got to make at that point to pursue. It wasn't this part of me that needed to pursue that.
Well, and I remember very distinctly, we were early on in our marriage, maybe even before our marriage, but I told Chase, and we just had this conversation. He was like, I don't really remember that, but I'm like, I do. But I told him, I was like, I don't know what the context of our conversation was, but it was something about our relationship. And I said, the healthiest thing I could ever tell you is that I don't need you. I have needed people in my life before that I was in a relationship with. I don't need you, but I want you. So I'm choosing you, right? Like that's the healthiest thing that I could say in my life, because I've been in relationships that lasted far too long, that weren't with bad people, but just it wasn't the right person. I wasn't in it for the right reasons. I was super codependent and afraid to live my life on my own and all these different things. But that, realization to me was that it made our relationship so much more fun, and it made our relationship so much more healthier, because I wasn't looking for him to provide for me for all of my inner wounds and all that I was lacking, right? We could come totally as two whole people, not perfect people, but one foot in the relationship and one foot in ourselves, and still have value in our own identity and independence. And that really has, I feel like, kept our relationship, as healthy as it is, 10 years later, and praying many, many more, 10 plus years.
Times
You know?
5 times
But
10
essentially,
times
that's what
20.
she's saying, is that
70.
set that foundation to a romantic relationship. Let it be you, finding that love and respect for yourself and then coming into a relationship. That's really wise words from J-Lo. So
Gotta love
good
J-Lo.
luck, praying the best for them. Round two.
Round two. Sometimes it takes a couple rounds. Okay, well, before we go to our mailbag, advice from a person who is not married.
Okay.
Maybe some of our listeners are not married. I know it's kind of getting into our mailbag, but it's fine. This is my mailbag question to y'all.
Before you ask that, though, we do have an expert in marriage.
This is
Maybe
true.
not because of skill, but because of experience.
Whoa.
We're going to bring Toby Slough on.
Come on,
Yeah,
Toby.
Tobes.
An expert, really?
I mean,
I didn't know if my wife was here. Y'all ready to bring her out?
So good.
Okay, you're right.
how long have you been
married?
married, though?
38 years. 38 years.
38
yeah,
That's
thank you.
good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Gosh.
10.
That's
right?
so much
10,
closer to
38.
40.
10?
Hey, it is.
That's
I'm
so much
so
closer
much older
to 40.
than you.
Yeah, what does that
In my
mean?
mind, I was like, I think they're at like 35 or 34, 36, 38. That's,
38.
Well,
wow.
I make it home and she may go, no, that's not right.
Well,
I've had a
been way
block for
along
years.
the
I
way.
won't, don't worry, I won't
It's
ask
close.
Siri for
It's
you
close.
Oh
because
my gosh.
I won't fact check you. We'll take it.
Text Micah right now. No. Okay, here's my question. So this is
Montana's
a
mailbag.
little
I like it.
personal, but
Montana's
it's fine. We're
mailbag.
getting there. How do you stay present in your relationship, a healthy relationship, without just always wanting to go to the next thing? With, okay, Christian and I are dating right now, and I'm like, all right, when are we gonna get married?
Sure.
So how do I stay where I'm at? Obviously, still excited about the future. What are some advice that way that you'll have?
I'm going to throw that to you, Tobes.
Well, number
Yes,
one,
Toby,
Christian,
please.
if you're watching, if you
gosh.
like it, then you need to put a ring on it, buddy.
There you go.
Let's start right there.
There we go.
Mike and I were engaged for over a year.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to be present in that moment.
Yeah.
But every season, Montana, it gives you, for me, like it gave me a chance to learn and to grow in an area. And so if you begin to see the season you're in now, pre-engagement, come on, Christian. It's like, man, you're going to learn something because the moment that ring is on your finger, like the engagement ring,
Yeah.
Serena and Chase will tell you, you begin to think differently. Right? When it's not my boyfriend, but my fiance. Come on, Christian. Didn't y'all start thinking differently?
Well, and I think for us, some of my friends growing up, it was the like the promise ring, which is like a pre-engagement
That's stupid.
ring. Yeah, but I remember distinctly this night that we went we went to Bible school, and there was this prayer walk, sidewalk thing, and if you circled it 3 times with someone from the opposite sex, and that meant you were gonna get married, and so silly. But we walked it, and you gave me this gift, and that you wrote this letter, and it was that moment of like,
Didn't you lose that letter or something?
okay,
Didn't the dog eat
No,
it?
that was a different letter.
Oh, okay.
Dog ate it. The most important letter
The
I
most
ever wrote.
important letter. But that letter and it was like a conversation, was the moment where it's like, okay, this is us opening up. This is our expectation for this relationship, for where we're headed. Even though we weren't getting engaged in that moment, even though we didn't even say out loud, we're going to get engaged one day.
But I told you I loved you in that moment.
You did. And it was this understanding we are on the same page, and we know the target that we're aimed at. And so I think, Montana, that'd be my thing, is like, wanting that. And like you said, there's probably, and us guys move slow sometimes, there's probably a lot of females in your boat who are like, come on, guy, pick it up. Christian, come on. But,
No.
but I think having those conversations of being on the same page, of making sure you're aimed at the right target, and that is a goal, it makes it a little easier to know whether the ring's there or not, whether it's coming next week or next month or not, to know, hey, we're still on the same page. And I think regularly checking back in on, hey, we feel the same. Is this, we're really where we're headed? And it's not like, hey, we're having a relationship check-in. It just happens in these conversations. Like you said, it was that, and then it was another letter, and it was another conversation. And that was where, for us, we knew we're on the same page. We're headed the same direction.
But I hear in your question, it's what comes out to me is the season of waiting, right? Like, how do I stay present when I'm waiting for something that I want? And I see so, like, tangible.
So close.
It's so close, right? And I just want to encourage you that there's going to be many more seasons of waiting in your life. This is maybe one of the first that you and Christian have together, but then let's say when you get engaged and then you're waiting for your wedding day, and then wedding day comes and goes and you're waiting for something else, and and there's a lot more seasons of waiting. And so learning how to wait and stay in the present, I would encourage you that when you are in the waiting like you're in right now, that you're not, constantly in the future of, man, I can't wait, and I can't wait, I can't wait. That robs you of here and now. There's so many gifts you have in your present moment, in Christian, in your friends, in the Lord, and so many things that you're blessed with right now, and allow that to be enough, that you're enough right now, not with or without a ring, not with or without a wedding dress, not with or without all these things. You're enough. And your life and your gifts and the blessings God has rained upon you, that's enough for today, right? And then there is more to come, but let's be present with what God has given today. And that is so much easier said than done. We have many seasons of waiting, waiting right now, but
I don't know. Can't tell.
Hey guys, if you didn't know, but you're gonna be waiting more and more, and so get familiar with the waiting. But know that when in this season of waiting, that there's a God that you can trust, but also the man that you're waiting for, he's trustworthy, and so allow him to be in his process, but also for you, be present with what is right now, and let it be enough, let it be good. That's what I would encourage you to do.
That's great.
Here's a real practical, because you know me, I'm the cookies on the low shelf. But here's what I've learned in those seasons, because what Serena said is spot on. Like practically, I have to train myself, because I've been in bunch of these seasons, to instead of saying, God, when is this going to be over? What do you want to teach me today?
Yep.
And there's something crazy about when that perspective of God, what do you want to teach me today? What do you prepare? Because every day is a preparation.
Yep.
I believe that with all my heart.
Yep.
And if you get your eyes open that way, and it's like people tell you, well, don't think about it. Well, that's dumb. You just think about it more.
Yeah, think about it.
So change your focus to what am I learning today? And then all that what Serena said begins to happen, because you're seeing your world differently. It's hard to do, but
And
it's
you position
helpful.
your heart and mind to receive that. Whereas before, when you're just focusing on the future, you're not really positioned to receive what could be yours today.
Yep,
So
it's good.
It's great.
we got a
Any
mailbag
other ones?
question.
Was that it?
That's it.
That's it. Awesome.
And we would like to say one more time, hurry up.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to need to
That's specifically
apologize
for
to
Christian.
Kristen after
There you
this
go.
episode.
Trust me, they'll get edited out. We know her.
That's fine. Well, let's go to our mailbag question for the week. We are so thankful, of course, for you guys sending these questions in. We got a bunch. We like to answer them right there on our social pages. We also like to take one to answer it in an episode. And so this one comes from Hope in Dallas, and she says this: do I love the person, or do I love the idea of being in a relationship? How can I tell? So, Serena, I know you've got a good response for this. I'm sure Toby does as well. I don't even know where to start here. Where should we?
Let's start with Serena.
Nice.
All right.
Go for it.
When I feel like I've been this person back in my, late adolescent self. Do I love this person? I'm pretty sure I literally asked myself this question. I was in a 5-year-long relationship that was about 4 years too long. And it was the idea for me. I had love for a person, and I confused that for being in love with them because, for me, it was, I'm afraid of being alone. And I'm afraid to deal with my junk, and I'm afraid of if I'm not in this relationship, what's going to happen, or what's next in my life, or what actually isn't next in my life. And I didn't want to deal with my own lonely. I didn't want to deal with, that pain for me, we brought up codependency earlier. Codependency is just chronically putting other people's needs in front of your own and not knowing how to take care of yourself. And so my needs were constantly being fulfilled by someone else, and I didn't know how to deal with that. And so this question here, do I love this person? I believe you probably have some love for that person, but if you have to ask this question, do I love the idea of being in a relationship? I think you know your answer. You know, is that what does that relationship feel for you? What void is it filling for you? And do you find yourself just thinking about the future of that person, like what this could be? Well, if I was with this person, you know, they check off all the, you know, they're athletic, they got a college degree, they this, and you know, at the end of the day, someone I could bring home to mom and she would be proud of me, you know. But is it? Do you guys hold the same values? Do you know, there's so much more when you're in love with someone, but you know, when you value being in love and being in a relationship, we can't just skimp out on the idea of a relationship. Like that is, you're gonna gyp yourself. And I think that a lot of times we want someone to steady us, right? We want someone to help take our pain. We want companionship so badly that we're willing to go back to what's comfortable and what's familiar when, especially, we're in a season of pain. If that's loneliness, if that's fear, if that's transition, or whatever it might be. I mean, we saw it in the Bible. Simon Paul went back to fishing in the boat after Jesus died. He's like, I'm going to go back to what I know. Like, that's just what we do. We go back to familiar and to comfort when we're going through stuff. And so, you know, we want people to anchor us and be like these life preservers. But really, like, we got to do that for ourselves, with the Lord, with our own intimacy, and just like J-Lo said, and then come into a relationship, right? But yeah, I mean, I think you know your answer here, Hope. How can you tell? Well, where, you know, where's your identity coming from? Is it, I will be better if I have a relationship, or I really just don't like myself in my season, and this person makes me laugh and is a warm body, you know, kind of thing.
I think what you're saying too, like if you're asking the question, like what prompted you to ask this question?
Good, yeah.
Like there must something that you're feeling or something that happened has prompted you to ask this question, and it's probably a good.
See, I'd probably come to the same place you came to, but I'd come from the other side, which is, let's talk about what love is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say something a little controversial for my generation, maybe not for you guys, but like, I'm not sure. I knew what love was when I stood at the altar with my wife.
Sure.
I didn't know what that was. There was a piece of me that I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, but you know, nobody's motives or heart is pure this side of heaven.
Right.
Right. And so maybe, Hope, you're like the girl said, you've answered that question, or maybe you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I have an answer. I just want you to ask yourself, like, can you be alone? Or you got the J-Lo deal where it's from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And then, like, if you're the only common person in that equation, right? I mean, and I'm saying that from experience. I'm like Serena. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I dated the same girl for 3.5 years. And went to college, and I didn't know how to not be dating somebody.
Right.
And I was mad at God because I wasn't finding someone today. But now you look back and go, okay, but like God was preparing me,
Right.
releasing me from the need to have. And then here she comes walking into my life. But I'm not sure I know I was better than I had been, but there was probably still some of that in me at some level. But the thing was, man, like love is a decision over time. You do not become one when you walk out of a church. You begin the process of being one.
Yeah. That's good.
And so how's the process? Well, you're patient, you're kind, you're not jealous, you're not both. I mean, all those 1 Corinthians things that everybody says, and it sounds so cool till you actually have to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Billy Graham's wife, Ruth Bell, I read this quote. This was before we got married. And speaking about like showing up on your wedding day, not knowing anything about love. I mean, I knew nothing. I just knew like I wanted to do it with this guy, like not it, but
Wow.
probably it.
Wow.
Too. You know what I mean? I wanted to do.
Woo, we did it. Yes.
Wow, I did that to myself.
I can't believe you just said that.
I wanted to marry you. I wanted to
Thanks
do
for being
life,
authentic
and
and
I wanted to do all that with you. Yes, okay. But she said, marriage is the union of two forgivers, and I will never forget that. Like, because there's times when in our marriage we fought completely differently than we fight now. You know, Chase would be quick to apologize, and I'd be like, I have a lot of feelings, and I want to talk about, and I want to feel them for a long time. And so I could like stonewall, do like weeks, and just be like angry. And he would be like, I just want to apologize and let's move on. Let's be happy again. But I interpreted that as like, you don't want me to have feelings, and you don't want to spend time.
I was asking
understanding
myself, do I love this person or do I love the idea? No.
Wow. You know, I always sit back here and listen to you guys, and what a deal, man. Like, the newlywed game, really, you had to think about it. And when you get the same answer, you kiss the girl. That's what happens on the show.
That's true.
And Torchy's is fast food, whether you have drive-through or not. Because so is Sonic that has no drive-through. It's fast food.
But
And
you're
so
in
is
a car,
Subway.
you drive
Oh.
through.
Anyway.
Anyway.
But I sit
Anyway.
back here and listen to you guys talk about this stuff, and I'm sitting there going, you know, like some of you watch this, and you have been so shaped by culture of what finding and growing with a mate is. And I'm telling you, dude, like I sat through with my wife last time, we cried. Like some of you are giving up too soon. There ain't nothing in life that isn't an uphill walk. And man, I know it's hard with kids. Chase and Serena, they think too, wait till 3, I'm watching my kids in that. I know you fight for it, but like you get old. And you look and go, this is as good as it could get. Because you are best friends. And God has, like, I'm closer to this than I've ever been. Not perfect, but closer to one. Like, don't fall for that crap.
Yeah.
Of what you're hearing. It's just a long walk uphill, and I'm just tired. I'm tired of people coming to me and saying, well, you know, I knew it at the, I mean, they talk themselves out of it. Well, just decide again and keep going, because there's something good at the end.
People are worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Marriage is worth fighting for. And waiting. What Hope is asking, like, maybe you don't like to wait. The tolerancy of waiting, you know, and it goes back into Montana's mailbag. But, you know, is that maybe this isn't the right person for you, but you just don't want to wait. So is someone there accessible and familiar? And, you know, we have to challenge ourselves to grow in those things that are so hard. But, you know, back to just what Toby said, and it's waiting and fighting for the people that are going to be with you for life. I mean, they're worth waiting for. They really, really are. So hope that answers your question, Hope.
That's really good.
Hope.
Hey, it's a good question, Hope. Don't hear in any of our passion, like us devaluing your question at all.
No.
There's hundreds of people out there asking that question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final thoughts?
Any thoughts?
My thought is that who would win in Newlywed, Toby and Micah versus Chase and Serena?
Definitely Toby and Micah.
No, you know what? That's not true. I'm sitting there listening. I don't know what Micah's first job was.
Really?
I don't know what her first car was.
You better go learn.
Hers was a horse.
Yeah, she was on a horse. This is true.
There you go.
This is true, man.
Rancher's daughter.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us
You got anything
today.
to say to Christian as a
Oh, no.
like a final
Listen,
thought?
Christian, call me.
Oh,
we'll chat. Call us. We'll, it'll be good.
Oh my gosh.
But thanks for joining us. Make sure that you like, subscribe to the channel so that you get these episodes the moment that they're released. And of course, Signs of Life is also a podcast, so you can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, and share the episode with someone, whether it's with your significant other, a friend, whatever. Share the episode, and we will see you guys next week.